Okay, so welcome to Adrian from Binone and talking about OPPI. So I will just hand over to you, Adrian, as we've only got 30 minutes and I know you've got a lot to say in that time.
Thank you, Lucy. Let me just pull out the slide and so that we could start. Could you all see the slides?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adrian, and so thank you very much for taking time off your lunch or whatever you're doing right now to join the session. Firstly, I really want to be grateful and appreciative to Lucy, to Mike, for giving me the opportunity to share with everyone here about our product OPPI. As you could hear from my accent, I'm from Singapore, and right now it's nighttime here. But we have recently expanded into UK with OPPI Limited. So we have an entity in UK, which is OPPI Limited. And our objective is really to expand your tool suite to conduct qualitative studies, or maybe in fact quantitative studies, with, as I later share in the slides later, in a much shorter, much more efficient, and a much more truthful manner. And hopefully, throughout any course of this presentation, if you have any questions you might have, just feel free to drop in the chat group, in the chat inside, or just let me know any point in time. I'll probably just take about 15 minutes, and then we will have another 15 minutes to have some Q&A on this. So really, in the past 6 years, I've been operating in the APAC region and been facilitating, conducting focus group for various different types of reasons. And during this time, I faced a lot of different challenges. And I was thinking, how do I sort of overcome them? I have to think outside the box to try to cut short the time to ensure, to also ensure the success of these sessions here, where we can get insightful results. Some of the key challenges that our client will tell us is that despite doing all this focus group, typically it will take about 3 to 6 months. Some of time it will take even longer. Our client will sort of ask us, how can you shorten the timeline further? I really need the results faster. Could you do it in a shorter timeline? Could you maybe talk to more people? Could you do more? You can interview more people instead of just the people in the focus group. Can you interview more people and get them to say more? Can we get more quality opinion instead of the usual crowd? So these are just kind of requests that we often get in the typical focus group discussion. Beyond just all these project challenges, when we do this physical session, or even the virtual sessions when COVID struck, we are also, at our part as a moderator, we want to make sure that there is no bias, right? At any point in time when we do the session, we want to make sure that everybody gets their voice heard, they get the opportunity to share. And at the same time, we need to keep to the arranged, stipulated time to make sure that all questions are being answered, everybody get to share. So all this is the kind of mental stress that the moderator has to go through during this kind of focus group session. So we thought, how could we help researchers with all these problems and challenges? We designed OPPI in a way to help researchers like yourself to distill insights very quickly in real time, so that you could just drill them down quickly within the entire session itself. Just like the focus group, as we talk to each people, we get new insights, and we want to take those new insights and then test it with the same group of people, asking them, what do you think about this new perspective? We want to do that in a very quick, efficient manner. And on top of it, instead of just talking to small number of people in the focus group, we want to make it scalable to interact with not just tens, but hundreds of people, but even thousands of people, all at the comfort of their own devices, at their own time, just like the bulletin board style. So we think about, how do we then take the ideas from the focus group discussion? How do we take the ideas from the bulletin style and merge them together to develop a platform that could help us to get insights as quickly as possible? And lastly, as we also understand, a lot of time, some of these exploratory insights that we can gather from the qualitative studies will develop in themselves into quantitative surveys right after. So how do we then use this qualitative and transform all these qualitative insights to quantitative insights all in one session? We do that right within the OPPI platform. To help illustrate this concept, I wanted to quickly share with you this recent case study that we have done in September this year. The client wanted to sort of understand the concerns of UK citizens regarding the cost of living crisis that is happening in the country. So you could see from the screen itself, there are a few articles, there's a few headline sort of topics that was raised by journalists, by the media. If you look at the bottom right corner, talking the Financial Times article talking about, oh, actually the cost of living crisis is easing, the consumer confidence coming back. So the client wanted to understand if this is really the sentiments that is reflected by the population. So in a very short span of 7 days, we recruited about 1,028 respondents in partnership with Pure Profile UK. We want to make sure that the respondents were representative in terms of their age, their gender, their locality. And you can see in the big numbers here, beyond just 1,000 respondents, each of them contributed at least 8 opinions, making a total about more than 8,000 comments to be analyzed. So if you look at it from the traditional qualitative type of study, 8,000 comments doing coding will take at least a few months to do it. So we we sort of compress everything and using AI and our platform to do the entire study within 7 days. In all, we derive about 20 insights from the entire studies to then submit to our client at the end. But just let me share some key findings instead of running through all the different insights, which we are happy to sort of go through in a follow-up session. I can send you the white paper if you are interested about the entire insight paper, all the insight that we have derived from this study. But quickly, just these 3 key findings. In our platform, we ask whether what the respondent feel in regards to the Financial Times article, talking about, well, the cost of living crisis is over. There's no more cost of living crisis. The consumer confidence is starting to regain. Well, that is not quite the kind of agreement that our respondents are facing. A slight majority of respondents don't agree with the findings. This was quite different from what the Financial Times article was saying. The respondent was sharing stories and reason why they are not buying more, unlike what the article is saying. And they also don't feel like the crisis is easing at any one point. So beyond just looking at whether I agree or not, which is the quantitative part, we do go into the deeper insights to understand the reason why people feel this way, why do people feel that the cost of living is not easing at any point. For the narrative in the center, where people are talking about companies profiteering from the citizens, we look at there are 60% of the respondents agreeing with this kind of concept, the conversation. But beyond just agreeing in the quantitative manner, they go on to cite which kind of company, what kind of industry are really responsible for the profiteering, which helps the client to focus on the kind of industry. Not everyone is profiteering, but some industries, some companies are doing it. And from the study itself, the people clearly says that the oil company, the energy companies are trying to profit from the people. And so this gives a deeper insight for the client to understand where to look at. And lastly, in the issue on the right, where we talk about 1 in 5 Gen Z people felt that they will give up their life milestone due to the rising living cost. Well, this firstly, when we look at it, there were similar sort of results that sort of appear within our study that is resonated with the YouGov study, which was the article that was shown here. But beyond that, the respondents also shared the desire that they would like to keep trying despite all these challenges that is facing them. So it is not just about one single dimension. When we look at the headline and it looks gloomy and you know, it looks like it is not, people are giving up. But through the qualitative sort of study, through this iterative answering, questioning throughout the platform, we can find that the Gen Z exhibit their kind of mental resilience and the kind of strength they want to show despite all these challenges that is facing them. So this goes beyond just the numbers. And so this is some of the things that we have discovered through the platform. Separately, what is unique in OPPI is then the ability, just like a focus group session, when we listen and find new perspective, how do we then turn it into something that is measurable by the rest of the population in real time? So as we test the initial statement with the population, there was two views that was coming up. So let me just quickly go through. One view was saying that there's no point in paying council tax because it feels like throwing money away. And then there was another view that somebody has expressed, saying that illegal immigration and asylum seekers are making the cost going up. So it seems like there will be some trend. It seems like people are sort of talking about what is causing the cost of living to go up. Then the client wanted to take this idea and say, why not we test it with the rest of the population in the same session? So we took it, we turned it into a question in the same session, get the rest of the population to say, what do you think about it? And what was surprising was that it was actually a divisive view. It wasn't a common view that was taken, not like the social media where people think that these are the case. It was a divisive issue. It was debatable. On the council tax, there are some people who felt that, well, it is very important to pay the council tax because there are emergency services, there are essential services that needs to be paid, and this is important for them. For the illegal immigration and asylum seeker, there are people who felt that these are jobs that the immigrants are taking up, that the UK citizens are not taking up. So these are ideas and views that was raised with this new perspective that was being shown. So you could see that beyond this also took in the merits of a focus group discussion in a physical setting, that we can then listen to new perspective, pick it up, turn it into new questions, and iteratively test the population to find out quantitatively if it resonated with the population. So how do we do that? I'm going to show you a very quick run through of our analytics dashboard through a video like this. Of course, at any one point, I think with this short session, if we can go into a deeper session in the follow-up email or in the follow-up demo session, or you could run through our free trial. Now, OPPI provides you with this visualization right out of the box because we want researchers to quickly form the story and understand what is going on. So you could see that the decision matrix that we have designed here help you to get a quick overview of all the statements that was tested, to see what was the statements that garners majority consensus, what are the statements that was divisive, that actually splits people apart, what are the kind of statements that was undecided. So these are some of the statements taken, for example, just now, some of these statements that were shown in the earlier slide. We are able to see that there was a slight majority of respondents who reacted in disagreement to the narrative that was tested. And similarly, in these two statements that were shown, this purple one, these were the two statements that we actually enable during part of this discussion to get to test with the rest of the population. And we can see that it was pretty divisive. So if we could predict that if these views was tested with the rest of the population, this would definitely be a divisive view. And beyond just this decision matrix, we have other useful tools to help you to extract key information about the audience. So in this case study, we found two different audience segments with different behaviors. What it means that is that two different opinion groups have two different set of views, and all this is being done in real time by the clustering method, by AI. And on top of it, we also use generative AI to help you to look through hundreds and thousands of comments. If you recall, in this case study, there are 8,000 over comments. How do you then look through this 8,000 comments, get the understanding of the key themes that was expressed in the comments, and understanding what are people saying all in a few minutes, so that you could pick up new perspective to be then shared and tested with the population. So as a result of using AI in sort of companionship with running the results, we are able to then get the narrative faster and in a more truthful manner. But more importantly, we want to be able to help you in the work. We understand that coding is one of the things that people are doing, it is very iterative, it is something that is very long drawn, and we want to be able to help researchers to sort of cut short that timing. So we built in auto detection of themes for the open-ended comments, and we help to really code them in Excel, so you don't have to do it. It helps you to get a first draft of all the coding with the respective team that is discovered through the open-ended comments, and you can just literally validate these comments, validate this work that's done by the AI. So instead of cleaning, data cleaning and doing the iterative work, you can just focus on the insights. So really, through this very quick sharing, we want to make sure that OPPI helps researchers like yourself to shorten the field work and analysis to get to the insights as quickly as possible. We want to help you to extract quality responses with more people, and through the process to help eliminate biasness and to increase inclusivity. Well, so this is very short, 15 minutes to quickly share about the platform. I'd be happy to sort of take any questions and then really to share more about how we use this platform for various different research studies.
Thank you, Adrian. So can I encourage as many of you as possible to put your cameras on? It's always better to get a conversation going when we can see you. And invite any of you to ask Adrian some questions. Anybody?
Thanks. I saw George. George have mentioned a quick question about.
Yeah.
George,
did you want to expand?
Sorry.
No, Lucy, I just put a question in the chat, which was I wondered if we could have a sense of what it's like for the respondent to participate, what they see, what that experience is like.
Great. Well, let me just quickly go to one of the sort of demo polls that we have, and then you could have a quick view. Let me just pull that out. Okay, just give me a minute here. Let me look at the share screen. Where is it? Yeah, there you go. So, well, this is actually on our website, so you could play with it anytime when you go to our website and just click on the demo poll. You could just do part of it. Everything here is customizable. You can change the color, you can change the banner in any way you like it. The statement is shown to the respondents. They get to have a quick understanding of what is happening. You can even show a YouTube video to get them to sort of go into the context of why are they doing this. More importantly, as we actually go into Birmingham, this was a feature that was shared by one of our clients, is saying that, you know, in Birmingham, while English is not one of the main languages, we have more that we have so many people from all different parts of the world coming to Birmingham. What about languages that they understand and not English? So we make all different types of language, including Welsh. We could then turn the entire survey into the language that the respondents understood, and then translate back the results and the analysis into English, so that the researcher, even though there is a language gap, they are able to understand. So this is just one other feature that I wanted to share here. But the experience for the respondents is basically this. For every statement, just like the focus group discussion, they are presented with a statement, with a question. They share their views with 3 buttons, just 3, agree, undecided, or disagree. But beyond just selecting these views, they then have to explain the reasons. Why do they agree? Why do they disagree? Why do they undecided? There's a lot of open text exchanges here. Of course, there is also a Likert scale as well, so that you could do the measurement. But the main view will be just this, in a way, this kind of experience where you can just scroll through in a very user-friendly manner. This can be on the mobile phone, it can be on the desktop, all devices, so long that you have the internet.
Jonna, like your comment in the chat. You're on mute.
Sorry. Oh, thanks, Anna. I think
I was just saying, doing siarad Cymraeg. We don't see Welsh being included very often, so that's pleased me. It's my first language.
Thank you. Well, you know, we got the feedback, and we want to make sure that it is as inclusive as possible, so that everybody is able to participate.
Diolch.
Any other questions from anybody?
Adrian, it's Mike. In terms of that, the processes you showed, I think in the examples have all been fairly linear. So you've gone from, like, you know, you've asked people questions, you've got the responses, There might have been some updates along the way, but then you've done some analysis. Is it possible to sort of use the system for sort of multi-stage? So there might be like pre-tasks, post-tasks, and then the actual content itself?
Definitely, you could sort of customize it in the way that you would like to sort of fit into the process. In the case study that we have done, it's not exactly quite linear. We have an initial set of statements that was tested. As the participants share their views, the moderators look at new perspective that was shared, turn some of this new perspective on, and go back into the loop in testing this new perspective with the rest of the population, the representatives population, so that it can be measurable and it can be representative as well, because it was answered by the same group of people with the representation.
Other questions?
I have a couple of questions. So once they've filled in the open, can the moderator in real time go back in and ask them a further question or a clarification on as to what they've written?
Well, so once they fill in the open-ended comments, it goes into the backend, and the moderator gets to see it. He or she is able to then firstly make they can then take this perspective and then turn it into a new question, or ask a clarification question if they want to. So they first need to pick up this perspective that was shared by the respondents in the open-ended comments, which is done all in real time, and then later on push this up at a new question to be tested with the respondents, with the people in the same focus group. So it's
everybody gets the new question.
That's right, like a focus group session where somebody said something and you kind of could you clarify, but everybody gets to hear it. And
can it do a visual work at this? What you've showed us is text based. So could it do, I don't know, vision boards or mood boards, or could the respondent put images or select images or insert images themselves?
Yes, so you could do, well, we have a few options right now. We have the Likert scale, we have the MCQ in images, we have the MCQ multi-select in images. We are still adding options as we are getting more requests. This is currently a full-fledged product already, but of course, as we are getting more requests from our researchers who are testing the product, if there is a certain feature that we think that is useful, we'll just add it in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it just strikes me that it could be, I mean, if you could use any form of stimulus to show, okay, so what do you think of this? It could be used for a kind of a deep dive into that, whatever it is, whether it's an advert or a statement or a picture or in any form. I like this. I think it adds another. I'm not sure how qualitative it is, but it adds certainly adds another option for unpacking a complicated, nuanced topic, which most things seem to be these days, where it's so difficult to ask a question that's not has an inherent bias built in. So yeah, I like it as a quantitative tool. I wouldn't not sure I'd describe it as a qualitative tool, but I do like it.
Thank you, Richard. And to answer the initial part you mentioned about images, you could definitely insert the image to get people to test. You can test it, that if they agree, did they like it or not. You could do that as well.
I have a question, because you showed it on the presentation that you showed some social media on there that people were talking on it. So how were you able to get that information if you are doing Maria asked, if you are able to go in while they're completing the form, you can see the results and you can add it. So how did you bring that social media aspect into it? Maybe you mentioned it and I'm sorry, but if you could just really mention it again, that would be great.
No worries. In that case study, the client was the social media intelligence tool. They first observe certain trends that was coming out from the social media, a few key trends that was coming out from the social media, like the articles that I was sharing. And this forms the initial set of questions to be tested with the population. Thereafter, when we are testing with the respondents and we are talking to the population, those new questions like the council tax, like the one talking about the illegal immigrants, was not part of the social media. It was actually a conversation that was happening from the participants that they thought that they were sharing this as a new perspective, that this was the one that was causing the cost of living going up. So there were two things that was happening within the entire conversation itself.
So then perhaps that then explains what Maria was asking. So you know, paying the council tax, that came up in the conversation. So did then somebody go in and ask them about it, add that additional question in? Is that what they done? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody else want to ask anything?
Can you run this across many countries at the same time?
Well, definitely. So this is the beauty of this is on the internet. So you just need to access it through a URL. Of course, you could password protect it so that you don't get somebody else to attempt the survey. But it could be then shared across different time zones or people coming. Well, so we did one between Singapore and France. And so students from, this was with a business school, 300 students from Singapore, 300 students from France participating in the conversation about the future of the world in 2050, all at the same time, but of course in their own time zone.
As a participant, how long does it last? And is there a law of kind of diminishing returns whereby everybody answers the first lot, and then when you ask the follow-up questions, there's a lower number of people answering?
Oh, that's a very good question. In fact, that will be part of the questionnaire design. We typically recommend that we do not go beyond 30 questions. There are some similar, I'm not sure if you have heard of POL.is, which is Polis. Immediately, because they did not sort of have some form of control, very quickly it escalated to about 100 and 200 word questions because of everybody comments coming in. That had the law of diminishing return, and nobody answered beyond just the first 5 to 6 questions. So we typically sort of suggest to our clients to think about the questionnaire design to help to just keep it within 30, and that will typically allow the participants to that will be about 10 minutes of the time to participate, to share all the open-ended comments.
Okay, and then there's a follow-up on that. You pick some new topics to discuss. So is there another kind of 10 minutes for that?
That's right. So for the case study, we started with 5, and then it escalated to 20 in the end. So actually there was about 15 other questions, and that took about 10 minutes in total.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, just to me, it seems that's kind of the way to do it. You start with a small number of questions, and then you kind of expand from there as you go through. But then that might be just my weird brain. I don't know.
No, I think that's perfect. I mean, we recommend that to all our clients. Some of our clients want to start with 50, and I say no, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've run out of time now, but Adrian, you said anybody can get in touch with you to have a
please.
demo.
I will just quickly share the screen again. My email is there, and the website is there as well. There is a free trial going on in the website. You could just sign it up to learn more. But if you want a very detailed demo, or you want some more sort of, you want even a case study, or you have a study that you are currently undertaking, I'd be happy to help you in any way I could.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks very much for your time. I'm going to circulate this recording to everyone. And if you want to listen back, you can. So thanks so much, Adrian.
Thank you.
Soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye. Bye all.
Bye.